All right, let's jump right in. If you've ever wanted to build your own smart home gadgets, create wireless sensors, or just, finally understand how the Internet of Things actually works, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving into this explainer, which is going to be your absolute ultimate starting point for learning the ESP32 in 2026. Whether you're a total beginner who's never touched a breadboard, or maybe an Arduino user who's just ready to level up to Wi-Fi, we're going to break the whole shebang down together, step by step. So here's our game plan. We'll start with exactly why the ESP32 is still the reigning champion of microcontrollers right now. Then we'll help you pick out your very first board. After that, we'll tackle setup and hardware basics, connect you to Wi-Fi and web servers, dive into deep sleep and some really cool real-world projects, and finally, look at what you should learn next. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Why the ESP32 is the ultimate microcontroller starting point in 2026. So get this, originally released way back in 2016, this little chip has evolved into an absolute powerhouse ecosystem. The idea spread like wildfire, and now there are literally millions of active developers out there ready to help you out if you ever get stuck. But the real kicker here? It's the value. For literally the price of a cup of coffee, usually just between $3 to $5, you're getting built-in Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, a dual-core processor, and plenty of memory. It is hands down the ultimate low-risk, high-reward entry point into hardware. Moving right along to Section 2, choosing your first board and navigating the massive ESP32 family. The big divide in the ESP family is actually pretty simple once you break it down. If you've looked online, you've probably felt completely overwhelmed by all the letters and numbers, right? S2, S3, C3, C6. It's kind of like a giant puzzle. Well, let's simplify that right now. Stick with the classic ESP32 Room 32 dev kit to start. It's got the biggest tutorial community by far, and it is practically plug and play. Now, those newer S3 and C6 models, they're absolutely amazing for future-proofing, especially with stuff like the Matter Smart Home Protocol or AI, but honestly, save those for later down the road. All right, Section 3, Setup and Hardware Basics, or getting to know your board's digital hands. So your board interacts with the physical world through its GPIO pins. Basically, think of them as the board's digital hands. But here is absolutely crucial rule number 1. These hands run strictly on 3.3-volt logic. If you connect a 5-volt signal directly to them, bam, you'll permanently damage your chip. To keep all 38 of those pins straight, just remember these core rules. Stick to the ADC1 pins for your analog sensors. You'll definitely want to avoid ADC2 pins if you're actively using Wi-Fi, because sharing those resources causes massive headaches. And whatever you do, never use pins 6 through 11. They're tied straight to the internal memory, and using them will instantly crash your setup. Okay, with the hardware rules out of the way, let's build up your software scaffolding. For 2026, the Arduino IDE 2.x is just a fantastic beginner-friendly tool. To get your very first simple Blink sketch up and running, you just follow a quick sequence. First, grab the Arduino IDE download. Second, head into the preferences and add the Espressive package URL. Third, open up your board's manager and install that ESP32 package. And finally, just plug your board in and select its COM port. Boom, your environment is completely ready to go. Which brings us to Section 4, Wi-Fi and web servers, giving your board a voice. To actually give your board that voice, we need to hook it up to Wi-Fi. Just a quick heads up here, make sure you're connecting it to a 2.4 gigahertz network. It literally won't even see your 5 gigahertz bands. Once you're connected, you can turn your ESP32 into a simple HTTP web server. What does that mean? Basically, your tiny little board can host and serve its very own custom web pages directly to your phone's browser. You don't need expensive cloud services, you don't need crazy complex internet routing to see your room's temperature. It all happens securely right there on your local network. And notice how simple it is to make that web server feel super dynamic. By adding literally just a single line of HTML, a meta refresh tag, you can tell the browser to automatically refresh every 5 seconds. This creates a live, auto-updating dashboard to monitor, say, a DHT22 temperature sensor. And the absolute best part? It requires zero JavaScript knowledge. Now for my favorite part, Section 5, Deep Sleep and Projects, the hibernating bear. So the crucial point is understanding power. Think of your ESP32 as a hibernating bear. When it's awake in active mode, crunching data and running Wi-Fi, it's hungry. It draws between 80 and 240 milliamps, which is going to drain a standard battery in just a few hours. But it has this brilliant survival mechanism called deep sleep. When you trigger that, the current plummets down to between 10 and 150 microamps, It basically shuts off everything except a tiny little wake-up timer. And because of that massive drop in power consumption, deep sleep extends your battery life from mere hours to literally multiple years. No way, right? But it's true. It's a real game changer. This is the absolute secret sauce for any serious wireless IoT project. You wake the board up, read a sensor, fire off the data over Wi-Fi, and then boom, immediately put the bear back to sleep. So, bringing all these concepts together, the hardware, the sensors, the Wi-Fi, and the power management, you're now fully equipped to tackle our two capstone projects. Project 1 is a smart weather station that reads temperature and humidity and serves them right up to that live web dashboard we just talked about. Project 2, a motion-triggered alert system. Using a simple ultrasonic or motion sensor, your ESP32 will instantly send a push notification straight to your phone using the free Telegram app and the BotFather API. No custom mobile apps required at all. Finally, Section 6, what to learn next and expanding your horizons. Remember, this explainer is just the starting point of your maker journey. Here is your roadmap for leveling up from here. You'll definitely want to look into the MQTT protocol. It's a super lightweight messaging system that is vastly more efficient for IoT than basic web servers. Next, explore Home Assistant to integrate your new ESP32 boards into a complete smart home setup. Also, if you happen to prefer Python over C++, definitely give MicroPython a try. It runs directly on the board. And lastly, when you're fully ready to upgrade your hardware, that's when you grab those S3 or C6 chips to play around with the new Matter protocol. So there you have it. You now have the foundational knowledge, the setup steps, and the tools to build the Internet of Things literally from scratch. The hardware is ridiculously cheap, the community is massive, and the possibilities are endless. So I'll leave you with this. Grab a breadboard, plug in your brand new ESP32, and tell me, what are you going to automate first?